Hello everyone, I'm Tony Marfione and welcome to Microtech Blade and Board. We're going to take a quick look into making some New York strip kebabs today, and definitely stay tuned. We're going to get started right away. You know, throughout the summertime months, we try to make some simple dishes. This is one of them. It's relatively easy to prep and easy to cook on the grill. And we enjoy these. And again, I mean, you can make kebabs a million different ways with a million different ingredients, but I prefer to use something a little bit more simple on my end. So I use a premium prime cut New York strip on these particular ones, but you could use sirloin, you could use filet, you could use a little bit of ribeye, even sirloin. But this one here, I choose the prime New York strip. We're gonna also use portobello mushroom and just some simple, peppers that we have a host of different colors of here. Red, the red, yellow, orange, and green. And like I said, prime cuts, as good as it gets right here. So let's get at it. Kind of the first thing that we're going to start out with is, choosing your skewer. There's a lot of different options. Metal is one of them. It's a little less, if you're in a pinch, using a metal one, it gets you on the grill rather quickly and you don't have to worry about the skewers burning, which you have to definitely take into consideration if you're using bamboo. Today I'm going to go ahead and use bamboo skewers, and I'm going to go ahead and soak those. So if you're planning on doing skewers, you need to soak those bamboo in water for at least an hour. It helps them from burning on the tips and on the outside edges as you're going. So we have that ready to rock and roll. I kind of pre-did that before we started filming. So we're going to get started. I'm going to go ahead and start cutting up the peppers, trim up the mushroom, and I'll do the meats last and go ahead and get those skewered up, and we'll get them out to the grill. So stay tuned. Like I was saying before, there's so many different ways that you can prepare a skewer with all kinds of different exotic ingredients. This is just how I like to do mine. So again, this is just a preference, but you could add onion, you could add so many different things. I'm gonna just do some simple sweet pepper and the good old-fashioned portobello mushroom on top of some meat, so. And then when I get to that point, I'll use a little bit of olive oil and of course the Lowry's garlic salt, which is one of my faves, and then we'll get them on the grill, and they won't take long at all actually to cook. But this is a nice dish, It could be paired up with, if you want to starch, make some rice or make something simple along the lines, but it's got the vegetables and mushrooms on it, so it has just about everything that you need. So let's get started. All right. Go ahead and pull the tops out of these rather quickly. There. All right. Use the paring just to get that little bit of the heart out the center, that softer, fleshy material out of the inside, and then we'll go ahead and we'll cube these up. Again, we'll rinse them to get all the seeds off of them. And again, I probably have more peppers than what I'll use for the skewers, but I want to do the multicolors just for theatrics today. If you could also just kind of peel those out by hand rather than cutting them if they're soft enough. Let's just set that down for a second. In the same way, you guys can kind of see what I'm doing. Just using a simple paring knife to kind of go around that top. It's a little bit easier to set it on its side. I was trying to show you what I was doing up here, but it's harder to control the actual blade, and what you don't want to do is slip. Cutting peppers, good sharp knife. If you're not careful, you can cut yourself in a hurry if you're not paying attention. But having it set up on its side, you can kind of use that smaller proportion of the tip to kind of roll around to get into that pepper, to pull out that stem core. I love the smell. Love the smell. It's always wonderful. Okay. All I'm going to do is just kind of make sure I don't have any of the seed. Not saying I've eaten them all, seeds or not. Seeds sometimes with the cores, but they're chewy. Go ahead. Something that we're going to do down the line as well is one of the dishes that my wife makes. She'll make these stuffed peppers, which I love, and again, couple different ways to go ahead and do those. We've made them with, regular beef, but also with the deer meat and everything else. Makes my mouth water thinking about it. But the combination of the ingredients of rice and things, and the way that she makes them with the sauce, it's so good. It's so good, so good. She even makes them turkey-based, ground turkey-based, which is a little bit more healthier option, and it's just amazing in taste. I love peppers, love peppers. So kebabs, we've done them, meat-based, we've done them seafood-based. When we have an opportunity to get the really, really good scallops, or we get, the right kind of shrimp, scallop shrimp, and some other things in combination with a dish, they're so good. They're absolutely amazing to do, and they're just probably a little bit more prep work, but the grill time is very negligible, especially even on the seafood. Just having a good hot grill just to get everything cooked, it only takes just a few minutes. Nothing like a sharp knife, I'm not gonna lie. All right, give our board just a rinse, just to get the seeds off. And we're gonna go ahead and just trim these up. We're gonna use them whole because they're a pretty good diameter, what I'm looking for, but I'm gonna trim them stems up just a hair. So we're just gonna go ahead and, that's basically what you're looking at right here. So little round baby bellas, again, so many different options in mushrooms nowadays. Especially at the store, there's exotics, there's just about everything, and I love them all, really do. Portobello's just being one of my favorite. And the size is just really easy and really easy to kind of work. I probably could have used an extra package of these, but we'll definitely make it work. All right. All right, so here we go. We're gonna go ahead and get these New York strips and kind of cube them up. Like I said, I'll probably, not use much of the fatty sections along this line here. So just kind of trim those up just a little bit. There we go. Yeah, that's a tough piece. A little bit of fat is not so bad. these into cubes, probably about 1 inch across. And stuff like this that's left over is great, especially if you have a great dog at the house, a canine or something along those lines. You can cook this up for them as an additional treat. Yeah, I think our little Yorkie, she'd eat the whole pile if she could. But yeah, so nothing really goes to waste. Not in this household. He's got a little bit more marbling in it. I'll trim a little bit of that off, just a hair. A little fat is nice. All right. So the peppers themselves, I'm gonna go ahead and just cut off that end just a little bit. And again, making the same 1 inch style square. So like I said, I have more pepper than I probably will, but I'll bag those up and eat them for lunch. But nevertheless, we'll get a good selection of the pepper and color and tastes. And get those rolling just really quick. Let's see, orange, let's get us some green ones. All right, get that right at the end there. Okay. Oh yeah, capture that with a pepper again. Let's see, let's do green one. Let's throw another mushroom on there. Being careful not to poke yourself. I've done it while cooking and it sucks. Replicate again, piece of meat. Very nice. That's looking very nice, I think. Very nice. Capture that meat just a little bit. Looks really good. Drop one cap on the end. So that's kind of what we're looking at this point. All right, we're all prepped up and we're gonna make our way out to the grill, which is preheating right now. Right now, all I'm gonna do is just set these inside a pan, and I'm gonna go ahead and baste these up with a little olive oil and just a little bit of spicing. So we'll start out. And like I'd always said before, when handling meats or any kind of poultries or any of that sort of stuff, hygiene is a really big thing, seafoods, everything else. So the pan that I'm using to transport these out to the grill will not be the same pan that I'll use to transport those back to the dinner table. So the same thing, midway through, I'll even change out the tongs that I use, just as far as the hygiene is concerned. Because think about handling, you know, you're putting raw meats on a grill, setting them aside, getting them cooked, flipping them again, getting them cooked. Unless you clean that, you could be introducing contaminants into your food. So just a little bit of a safety precaution when you're grilling is hygiene all the time. Wash your hands often and try not to cross-contaminate certain things. You know, I like to use one particular prep sink. Typically, if I'm doing even poultry, we you know, in between doing this, we clean everything down very, very, very well. So, you know, we're gonna make our way out. Of course, I like to use the PAM extra virgin olive oil. I've used so many different types of things, and there's so many different marinades that you could use for these sorts of things, whether you baste them on or sprinkle them on or however, but this is what I use. So a little bit of PAM goes a long way, and then I'm gonna go ahead and use a little bit of the Lowry's garlic salt with parsley. Just simple, very simply done, you know, nothing too elegant. You could add pepper, salt, sea salts, all different sorts of things, but we're gonna just keep this relatively simple today. So I'm just gonna go ahead and prop these up a little bit. Gonna hit that face side. And go ahead and orient these another way. Okay. Just kind of like our Cerakote department at Microtech, man, you learn how to control the spray. I'm just kidding. Anyway, I did do a lot of firearms coatings when I was young. You know, a little bit of trivia with Microtech is a lot of people think that I just started out making knives. I actually worked on the gun side of the industry first, and most of that was gunsmithing, and a lot of that was refinishing guns. You know, so refinishing guns seemed to be something I was very good at, and I did it for a multitude of gun shops in my localized area in Newport Richey. So a product that I used before, of course, K-coating and the wonderful miracle of Cerakote was a product called Moly resin from a guy named John Norrell out of, I think he was out of Tennessee somewhere. It was a thin film, you know, that was a phenolically coated thing, and it was corrosion resistant for as long as it would stay on the part. But it enabled me to make an additional living and did knives, guns, rifles, you name it, refinished stocks, and of course did modifications and things along those lines. So just a little bit of background history on me. I think I've been doing the coating since I was 16 years old. So 16 all the way up through my career, and then of course we started using the Moly on the Microtech blades, went over to K-coating, and then of course eventually to the Cerakoting. So it's kind of neat. Anyway, a light sprinkle. Not going to be heavy-handed on this. Most of it's going to burn off anyway, but to add a little bit of flavor to what we got going on here. All right, there you have it, folks, and we're gonna make our way out to the grill right now, so join us. So here it is, everybody. We're getting ready to go ahead and grill these kebabs. You know, today I'm gonna go ahead and use this Napoleon grill. A little bit bigger than what I need for getting the job done, but it's gonna work out. I've been dying to use this particular setup. It's the first time I've grilled on this, so bear with me. I hope I make no mistakes. As I'm grilling, I often use everything with time. So I'll probably use my timer on my phone or my watch or however to just go ahead and time, because, you know, hitting those sides strategically is the way to do it. And again, we want to get a good sear on the meat without burning the poles and without burning the vegetables as well. So let's check this out. I'm gonna go ahead and just give these one more hit of olive oil spray. This grill is hot. So let's go ahead. A little bit of olive oil on the top there. And let's go ahead and we're gonna get started here. Okay, first one. Okay. 2, 3, 4. Okay, getting a little space in between here. All right. Just set my stopwatch really quick. We'll see what we get after about a minute. Like I said, this sort of stuff, I'm gonna go for a medium rare on the meats. So Again, this is a very, very hot grill, and it's the first time I've used it. A lot of times after you get to know a grill, you know its hot spots or temperatures to use that are gonna be. Right now I have it running wide open. All right, we're coming up in about 1 minute, 30 seconds. We're gonna take a quick look. Oh yeah. Go ahead and get these split. There we go. Coming along very nice. Of course, I'm going to keep these wet with a little bit of olive oil. Hit a reset, lap. Very hot grill. Like it so far. And again, gas grill, wood fire, you could do them either way. But biggest thing is just getting to understand, you know, whatever cooking element that you're using, you know, understanding how hot it gets, keeping an eye on it, using the time to get your desired preference and the actual, you know, temperature of the meats. You know, when you're doing seafood, it goes relatively quickly. You don't want to overcook shrimp or scallops because then they become a little bit chewy, but you do want them cooked thoroughly. So it usually takes even less time to even do the seafoods. All right, we just passed a minute. So we're coming up on our 1 minute, 30 seconds. We're gonna go ahead and rotate these one more time. There we go. Very nicely done. These are looking amazing. And at this point in time, I will go ahead and change the tongs. The tongs, like I say, you know, I'm always on the quest to find even better and better versions of these because they break apart after a while. Getting these things as long as you can, you know, spares you from burning all the hair off your arms and everything else. So being careful as I open the grill and everything else is to kind of get down a little bit low as not to open it inside your face and getting a heat wave and burning yourself because that could happen. You know, a lot of times I'll even wear safety glasses depending. So it's advisable. You don't want to get burnt while you're cooking, that's for sure. All right, we got one more side and we will be done. There we go. There it is. Well, and we're gonna change out the pans. So again, we're gonna get ready to take these off and I've changed the pinchers or tongs as I call them and also the pan itself. And as I have mentioned before, you know, something that we're gonna start doing with our patrons out there and our fans, definitely like, share, and subscribe our channel. But if you wanna get engaged with us here and work on a project, send us your recipes and send me your story. If you got a good story and a good recipe that I would like, we would love to fly you in, have you on this event, have you on this show, and have you go home with some really cool gear like some knives and some other things. So it's just another order to engage our consumers and engage our friends and families and stuff like that. We want to hear about your stories and your recipes, so definitely let us know. All right, guys, we're coming up on another 1 minute and 30 seconds. I believe that these are done. We're gonna go ahead and cut our heat completely. You know, shutting off your gas right at the main tank is always a better way to do this, even though these control knobs, sometimes I've left them on and all my gas is gone. So I'll shut those off first, shutting off the valves in the back, and we're good to go. Let's go ahead and see what we got. All right. So there you have it, everyone. Some New York strip kebabs, Tony Marfione style. Definitely stay tuned, and we'll see you on the next episode.